This is transactional entertainment lawyer Joshua Lastine, and you're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1Mike and the rest of the comic crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, and Image to IDW, Boom Studios, and Zenescope, we have everything right here. We cover things like Transformers, He-Man, superheroes, TMNT, and Radiant Black. Yeah, we have all that and so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the GeekCast Radio Network. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we're reading right now, here inside the pull bag.
Me Grimlock, not podcaster, me Grimlock King.
Hello everyone, this is TFG1Mike from the GeekCast Radio Network. This is the Pull Bag, episode 564 to 569. You're going to hear this exact same clip in all of these episodes. These are syndicated episodes from my buddy Jesse Earley's podcast, Another Comic Review. We have already released these over on his podcast, and because it's the end of the year 2024, and I need some content for the pull bag, I am syndicating them here. They are in their unaltered entirety as they appear on Another Comic Review. So please, have a listen. This is G.I. Joe and Void Rivals. You'll hear those comics being reviewed in episodes 564 to 569, only on the GeekCast Radio Network's The Pull Bag. Thanks for listening.
This is episode 31 of Another Comic Review, recorded Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Welcome to another comic review. My name is Jesse, and as always, I am joined by TFG1Mike of GeekCastRadio.com.
Hello. We're here.
This is a double shot episode where we're going to be talking about Destro and Scarlett number 4. First up, Destro number 4 by Dan Waters, Andre Bresson, Adriano Lucas, and Russ Wooten. I was not having a stroke. I was just making sure I was pronouncing their names right. So, quick synopsis from ImageComics.com. Destro's kill list: Chameleon, Tomax, Zamet, and anyone who gets in his way, or something like that. My quick rundown. It is Zamet, right? Zamet?
It's Tomax and Zamat.
Zamat. Okay. We open with Zamat and Tomax trying to purchase Mars, but are taken aback during the demonstration of the bats when it's revealed that they can't distinguish friend from foe and kill everything that moves. We cut to Destro reading love letters or U.S. intelligence documents by candlelight while writing a letter to General Flagg and sending him flowers, thanking him for providing him with these documents. We cut to a club party being held by Astoria Ritz, who is shocked to see Destro walk in from across the room. After a brief conversation, she makes a run for it where Destro has a guy with a rocket launcher waiting on the roof. The man fires, but Astoria is revealed to have the ability to generate an EMP. Ooh, where did we see that before? Which disables the rocket. At this point, it's revealed that Astoria is the chameleon and that her ultimate weapon, Overkill, is always watching from space. It was this weapon that attacked Darklonia. We close with a helicopter landing on the roof of the Mars building. As Zamet and Tomax go to greet them, it is revealed that Cobra Commander is the person aboard. Your thoughts and review of Destro number 4.
I still don't like most of this series, but how the hell? I might have to retract every negative thing I said about Dan Waters. Holy shit, folks. How the hell did I not see this? Of course, Astoria is Chameleon. Duh.
Now, why is it a no duh moment?
Okay, so you remember The Girl Who Loves Powerglide,
yes.
right?
Just recently watched it.
Bad Luck Astoria. Okay, good. Well, good. Bad Luck Astoria. What he did here was turn her bad luck into, he essentially, it's an EMP, fine, whatever, but he turned her bad luck into a good story point. And not just have her being fallen all over Powerglide, waiting for him to save her. She is no longer the damsel in distress. She's causing the chaos and then doing the hero thing. Holy crap!
Well, sexually harassing her underling.
Okay, yeah, there's that. That's horrible still, but I never Never expected that. I don't know, folks. My brain's mush these days.
But I mean, what? So,
Holy crap.
the chameleon character, right? Blonde hair. She doesn't have blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's either brown or a red. I guess it's brown in here. So
Could
I
be
guess,
a wig.
well, yeah. So that was my question. Like, I guess what did that give it away? Like, is there something as you read through this that kind of gave it away? That other than the fact that it says that, oh, right, Destro figures it out. I guess was there something previous looking back on these previous issues that kind of gave it away now, or
No, that's why I'm so in awe of it, because I didn't put I didn't do the math right. I should have figured this. As soon as Chameleon showed up, I should have had some sort of inkling somehow, some way in my Transformers brain, and apparently I didn't. So the fact that Dan Waters pulled one over on me. Like everybody, I listened to like 3 or 4 different podcasts. Everybody else got it immediately. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh, shit. I now need to do an audio retraction for, oh my God. But hey, that's good storytelling. Unlike some of the other stuff. But like that, like, I don't know.
Unlike issues 1 through 3 and 90% of this.
I think the problem with this is that every other character is more interesting than Destro himself.
You may have nailed outside of the writing, right? Outside of the writing, which I've had a huge issue with.
Yeah, some of the writing is bad, but and I'm not going to excuse all of it, but like, I'm going to still give mad props to the dude for basically pulling one over on me. Like, how did I not figure this out? But, yeah, but like, I don't read. Every time we've gone to read these comics for these episodes here on Another Comic Review, Destro's the one that I'm just like, nope, read it at the last possible second before you record. I think you may have
just nailed it though, right? Because I think, right, again, the writing aside, which I've had huge issues with through this entire series, but I think you nailed it in the fact that every other character in this miniseries is more interesting than our lead character, right? If you look at Duke, if you look at Cobra Commander, if you look at Scarlett, right? The main characters in those series, obviously the title characters, they're all very interesting characters. Yes, there are additional characters that are introduced, which are also fascinating and you want to learn more about, but the main characters are fascinating and interesting and you want to continue following their story. I don't get that out of the Destro series at all.
I don't get that out of the Destro character at all. And when I was listening to it, I will name drop them. I was listening to the Transmissions podcast with Charles and Daryl and Jeremy and everybody else over there at the Transmissions team. What they had one of the things, and I know this is a nitpick, but it's just part of comics. Like throughout this series, we've seen how his mask is supposed to work, and they were talking about, well, how does it really work? How is he what is it, paint? Is it metal? Is it this? And obviously we had that reveal in the last issue of how it was melted onto his face and whatever else. But if it's melted onto his face, how can he smile? How can he laugh? How can he do facial expressions? And again, I know that's all nitpicky stuff, but
honestly, we didn't get that. We got that from his like predecessor.
Yeah.
Which was like melted to his face, but with Destro, who knows?
Yeah,
it might just be clown makeup. He's a Tin Man.
Right. Bozo the Clown dressing up as an arms dealer, folks. There you go.
I mean, he might be the Tin Man, and Astoria might be Dorothy. Who knows?
And the sad thing is, they said the exact same thing on the other podcast. What you're saying? Yeah, they literally called out Tin Man and Dorothy. Yep. And I know you hadn't heard that, no, which is fine. Yeah, no, go check out Transmissions, folks. It's a good podcast. They've been around for lots of years. They're really awesome. They're fun. But yeah, no, I don't care. If in the 5th issue, Cobra Commander blows him up and we never see Destro again, okay, let's go
for that.
I'm ready to, I want to know, like, we've gotten to know somewhat of Tomax and Xamot. We've gotten to know Astoria / Chameleon. We've gotten to know more about how the Bat Troopers work. The only thing we've gotten out of Destro is that he has this ancestral home in whatever snowy mountains, and his ancestors look like the ancient spirits of evil from Thundercats 40-something years ago, kind of thing. Like, and I thought in this issue, like after this battle with the twins here, when we get to page 8, when he starts reading the letter or the whatever he's doing, I thought we were gonna get like more. The whole point of it, and I'm not saying this because of the writing, I'm saying this just in general, like this internal monologue of him reading the letter, like, and I know, thank God Destro is not Batman, but I'm going to compare Destro to a Batman comic only for the sake of showing people or having people hear. Normally, like, internal monologues, other than reading letters, it's the innermost thoughts of the character. It's why it shows you what the character is thinking. To this point, other than he wants his bottom dollar or whatever the best is for bottom line from Mars Industries, supposedly, I know nothing of this moron who, in the later issue later page 12, when he shows up to the club, I'm like, oh, dude, man, Crockett and Tubbs would take you down in a heartbeat.
You think they would use missile launchers?
Hell yes, I would hope so. Out of a boat, because it's Miami, people. But I look at him in this outfit, this fur ass coat that he's gotten in this club, and I'm like, where do you think you are?
Yeah, the garb that he wears is a bit out there,
bit outlandish, if you don't mind me saying. But yeah, I absolutely was floored by the fact that she's Chameleon, and I'm really happy about that because, again, anyone that goes back 40 years and watches The Girl Who Loved Powerglide, she's just a ditzy damsel in distress from 1984 in that cartoon episode. Like, that's all she is. She's meant to be annoying. She sounds annoying. She is annoying. And at first in this series, she was annoying as hell. And then all of a sudden, that, just kind of like, oh, it's a cover, or it's a this, or it's a that, or it's something to further her own agenda, and wow. And yeah, I would assume the blonde that she was wearing as Chameleon, I'm pretty sure that was a wig.
Well, I will say that because right now that we know that she's the Chameleon character, and we were told that I think in one of the previews for the upcoming G.I. Joe series that there's going to be a new character. I'm wondering if this is the character. Or at the very least, we'll see her cross over into G.I. Joe at some point going forward. Like, I don't think we've seen the last of this character now.
I don't think we've seen the last of Astoria Carlton Ritz, a.k.a. the Chameleon. I hope we haven't seen the last of her. If there's going to be a new character, like another new character, because technically Chameleon isn't new, it's just new that Astoria is the Chameleon as far as I can tell. But, hey, I'm game for whatever, but yeah, bring her back. That'd be fun.
So it sounds like you are sort of in the positive side of this comic.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know yet. Again, how can you have a comic where your main character is the worst part of the comic? Like, what are we doing?
That's the brilliance of Dan Waters, apparently.
I guess.
It's like, how do you make the lead character the least interesting person?
Oh no, but he managed to do a blow-up job with it.
Well, so I think, and I shared this with you after I read it on release day. I think of all of the Destro issues we've seen so far, I think this is the best one, and I think it's because. Yeah. I think it's because we're seeing a lot of the other characters, and again, not focusing a lot on Destro. Yep. Yes, Destro is right. His name's on the cover, and he's within here, but it's really, in my opinion, it focuses more on the other characters. The one thing I guess I don't know where this is potentially going, but so when he's sitting there reading, it's a little confusing the first time you read it, right? Because on page 8, where he's sitting there reading, he's reading papers, right? But it's got like the letters. Right. Or portions of the letter that he's written, right? So what he's reading is not actually that. Yeah. What's on the page there that we can visually read is what is the letter that he has written to General Flagg. And the information that Destro is actually reading is the intelligence documents that General Flag handed over to him. So my question is, why is there a deal made between Destro and General Flag, and how's that going to come back to haunt G.I. Joe?
It's going to come back to bite them in the ass big time, I guarantee it, in some way. And G.I. Joe is supposed to be the new ongoing. It's supposed to be a new ongoing G.I. Joe series. They have not said, I have not read anywhere to this point as of this recording, whether it's just going to be a mini. I'm assuming, like Void Rivals, like Transformers, it will be a continuous ongoing for however long it ends up going for. I don't think they set out to do a G.I. Joe miniseries kind of thing, because they want to be able to use that license on a more continuous basis, and I don't think they want to continually do miniseries like these. I hope they do miniseries like these in the future for other characters that might tie into the overall main G.I. Joe ongoing that we're going to be getting. I don't know.
Well, so to read this page specifically here, this section on location 10, page 10, whatever you want to call it, General Flag says, God forgive us, our monstrous bedfellows. I hope we've done the right thing assisting him. And what's her name here? Ferez? Some army person, female, whose name is Ferez, don't know what her title is, says, better the devil you know, right, General Flag? And then General Flag says, sometimes it's hard to be certain, Private. All right, there we go. Private Ferez. Sometimes it feels like the devil is just the devil. So it's like, why? We have no background as to what the deal is that they've made, why General Flag has assisted him at all. But it seems like he's handed over a bunch of intelligence information and some sort of deal has been made. And I assume we're going to be seeing this again. It's going to come back up again at some point in the G.I. Joe series.
Yeah, at some point, I'm assuming. Hopefully they don't just drop
I mean, the letter that he wrote, right, which does kind of go into some detail. It doesn't say why they made the deal that they've made. And it's not alluded to in this particular issue as to why they made a deal, how they came about making a deal or anything like that. So that's kind of one thing that's kind of out there that we don't have any answer to.
And like you said, it'll probably come up with, I'm just wondering, okay, so I've told you in the past, however long we've been doing this, I know we've been doing this for 20-something episodes, 20, 30 episodes, or whatever it is. No, 30.
We're up to 30-something.
Point is, that's your job. Yeah, I think this is 31. I could be wrong, but whatever. It's not my job to keep track of the episode numbers, folks. Not in this show, anyway. When the G.I. Joe series launches in November, I know I've mentioned to you before on the show that a balance is what is needed in comics, and depending on the story arcs that are going to be written, obviously depends on the characters they're going to use. And I don't know if any of these storylines, any of these loose end parts of the storylines in any of these miniseries are going to be tied up in the ongoing at any point. They, like I said before, they could do new miniseries with different characters. They could come back to these miniseries and do something else. Or, I don't know. It's Skybound, it's Image Comics, Skybound is new. They could do something completely different. They could just do the main ongoing for the longest time and then come back to one-shot miniseries later. Who knows? I would hope that with this series and with Scarlett, and I trust Kelly Thompson to tie it up, just in case. I know I've read her writing before, so I trust that she will do a good job. I don't know what's going to happen with Destro number 5, whether Dan Waters is going to, tie it off completely. I do know that the solicits will continually say, which they should, last issue before G.I. Joe number 1, because that's what I'll say in the solicits later in the episode. But I don't know. I hope that these stories end well. I hope that the Destro story specifically has a satisfying ending and doesn't just leave us, hanging off a cliff or anything like that or that kind of thing. But who is the G.I. Joe creative team? I forget who. I don't think maybe it's Joshua Williamson. I don't remember.
It's Joshua
off the top of
Williamson.
my head.
Yeah.
Is it really? Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
That's the Duke team.
But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so like you said, I don't know that it's going to tie it up. I'm hoping that it does. I think we're 1 for 4
Yeah.
with the Destro comics, in my opinion. Like I said, I think this is the best of all the Destros so far. And again, he's the least interesting of any of the characters in the series. So should we move on to talk about a better comic?
Yes, a superior comic.
In like every way, right? All right, topic number 2 here. Scarlett number 4 by Kelly Thompson, Marco Ferrari, Lee Luffridge, and Russ Wooten. Quick synopsis from imagecomics.com. Scarlett has infiltrated the Arashikage for one purpose, locate and extract Jinx, but the true purpose of her best friend's mission becomes clear, and it's an enormous game changer for the entire Energon universe. I'd actually push back on that because I thought the whole purpose of going there was to retrieve a weapon, not extract Jinx. So that's kind of interesting. I feel like whoever wrote that on Image Comics got that wrong. Well,
it's maybe, but it is. I mean, obviously we've read the issue, but if people read this issue, the fourth part of the spy mission here has it basically has two separate parts of the mission. Get Jinx. And then the weapon is the sword that ends up in the wrong hand.
All right, so my quick rundown. We open where we concluded issue 3 on the 47th floor of the Sato 3 building, with Scarlett and Jinx as the two quickly make their way to Storm Shadow. The weapon they were sent to retrieve has disappeared. Storm Shadow drops down a few more levels to find it, while Scarlett and Jinx catch up. Jinx reveals they can't let the weapon fall into the hands of Cobra, an up-and-coming rising power. Scarlett, thinking they've been tricked by the disappearing weapon, thinks that the weapon has moved up through the building, not down. Jinx and Scarlett move to floor 48, where they find the weapon. Fighting ensues as Cobra forces enter from the roof, and we close with an all-out brawl and Storm Shadow obtaining the Sword of Life. Thoughts and review of Scarlett number 4.
I like all of the character building stuff between Scarlett and Jinx. I love how they're sneaking around. I love how they're using their own little language here. And all that and everything else. I just love everything with the two of those characters. This is how you write characters that are, especially the character that has the name of the book. This is how it's supposed to be done. Take note, people. And by people know who I mean. People. This is, I'm going to kind of pull a U, but this is very much a like I said earlier, it's a split thing. It's two different things. You got to get Jinx out, but it's more so having the two of them infiltrate it and get to the weapon, then get out kind of thing. And, well, this is a better cliffhanger than Destro. I can guarantee you that.
100%.
This is a lot of fun. This is... It's just an all-out brawl. I mean, this is G.I. Joe Mission Impossible style. And like I said before in the other episodes of the podcast, I am so here for this.
So... going through this, right, the very last page here, it says next Cobra Commander, ?
Yes.
So in the last issue, we ended with the helicopter landing on the roof. I believe it was noted that was Cobra Commander. I need to go back and double check. Or maybe that was just me assuming. We know what they say about that.
In issue 3. Yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. Don't you know? It's a bad thing to do.
Okay, so yeah, all we have is on the last page here, last panel, it's a helicopter. It's got Cobra on the side.
Yeah, it's a helicopter. Yeah. It's got Cobra on the side, but we don't know. So what they did was, as far as I can tell, and again, Kelly, if you're listening to this, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. I can handle it. I'm an adult. But... So the last panel for issue 3 of Scarlett, it's do you recognize them? And the only thing that we as the audience recognize is the Cobra Commander logo on the chopper.
Right, and I mean there are Cobra forces in here that they're fighting. My only question now is, so we saw the end of Destro with a helicopter land with Cobra Commander getting out. And this is like questioning, are we going to see Cobra Commander?
I think it's I'm again, Miss Thompson, please, if I'm wrong, let me know. I think it might be a misdirect on her part. I think it might be somebody else. I don't know who else it could be, but because how can you have Cobra Commander unless you use like a life model decoy or some sort of hologram? How can you have him appearing in Destro at the end there, and then?
Well, so that's my question. Do you think these are actually happening concurrently? Or do you think that we're in different timelines now?
Well, where
Because I almost thought at the end of Destro, for example, where we're at the Mars building, and then right Zamet and Tomax are on the roof going to greet Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
I almost started thinking that maybe they're not actually at Mars. Maybe they're actually on the roof of this building. Right? I know at the beginning or through the midway of the comic, those two were inside of Mars. Right? They were trying to purchase it, but then I started wondering maybe they're actually here now, or maybe they're not. And Cobra Commander's in both places, and we're just in two completely different timelines.
I don't think it is going to. I want to make sure that I have this right. Where is the only one can win? I'm looking at the solicits just to see. Okay. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's all in the same, I'm assuming it's all in the same timeline. It has never been said directly that the present day of either of these series is in a different, like it hasn't said that Cobra Command or Destro is taking place in 1984 and Scarlett is taking place in 1987. It has never said anything like that to my knowledge overall. I think they've got too many ovens going. I think they have too many frying pans in the fire. I could be wrong. Not trying to speculate, not trying to be mean or anything like that. I'm not sure is what it is my final answer, because the way the solicits read for issue 5s of these series is that something's going to happen between the two of them.
Because I'm going to share this with you. Obviously, the people listening to this can't see this, but this is a a graphic that someone created on the Energon Universe subreddit, where it's Arcana Storm, I guess that's the person's name, who's come up with this quote-unquote Energon Universe timeline. And I'm like, I've asked the person on there, like, how did you ever come up with this? Because I don't agree. I don't agree with the timeline that you've come up with. And based on this timeline, right, it's showing that Destro and Scarlett, maybe Destro is slightly behind where Scarlett's occurring based on this graphic. But even then, it's like, how would this person know that? I don't know. But so that's where I was like, maybe Destro is actually happening first. And at some point in the future, right, in the near future, Scarlett is kind of following suit.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to have to email Kelly and ask her, because I want confirmation on this from one of the writers, and luckily I have that power to do so.
Because here at the end of Destro, right? At the end of Destro, Cobra Commander looks like he's right, kind of like he's there, but it also looks like he's been in charge for a while, right? So he's got his whole garb on, right? He's got his suit, he's got the cape, he's got his helmet. He's obviously got the helicopter. And then at the end of Scarlett, we see that, they've got some machinery, right? They've got the Cobra logo splattered on the side of the helicopter. So there's Cobra forces there. He's starting to build an army. Maybe here at the end of Destro, he's still trying to get the weapons. And by the time Scarlett happens, he's got all of that, minus the Sword of Life. And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, is this happening concurrently? Is one of them kind of slightly shifted a little bit in terms of the timeline?
So I'm looking at the number 5 preview for both of these, and they are two very different books as far as like what the events are and whatever else. And it does not say, at least I don't think it says. It does not say who is on that helicopter, and that helicopter looks different than the helicopter that is in Cobra. Wait. No way. That helicopter looks like it has G.I. Joe hanging out the side of it. So I don't think Cobra Commander is going to show up to Scarlett.
Well, so that helicopter, though, is... let me go back to Scarlett here. Sorry, I'm looking at Destro now. That helicopter is different, right? Because it's got the Cobra logo on it.
Yeah.
You're saying that you're thinking G.I. Joe shows up at the end of this.
Does that helicopter have a Cobra logo?
Yeah, the one on not the one you sent me. The one on the roof in Scarlet.
Yeah, the one on the right, Scarlet number 3. I don't know. Dude, I'm so confused. I have no idea. I don't know. I just don't know how he could be in both places at once. And they've never really said, to my remembrance, anything about Cobra Commander. The whole Scarlet series to this point has been about Storm Shadow. And I'm sure at some point Cobra Commander would come along at some point, but like the whole point has been facing off against Storm Shadow and getting the sword and getting the weapon to make sure it doesn't fall into blah blah blah. And yeah, I don't know. I'm a fool, ladies and gentlemen. What a fool I was.
Well, so I mean, overall, I love this issue. I like that it's sort of contained within a central location, or the single location, I should say, not central, single location. I'm a big fan of stories that do that, right? So something like Die Hard, for example, something like Dread. Again, they're all kind of contained in this one area, and that's like the whole movie, right? That's kind of where we're at here in these last two issues of Scarlet. It's all contained into the these 3 Sato buildings. So I'm a big fan of that. I love the storytelling here. I do like what you were talking about, where we get to see the character development between Scarlet and Jinx. All we've seen up to this point is really flashback discussion, or remembering what the relationship was in the past. And here, right, we actually get to see it, in quote unquote real time as they kind of try to catch up and figure out what the hell is going to happen, what they're actually going to do. And a question I do have for you that doesn't have anything to do with anything I just said there is the Sword of Life. Is that not Snake Eyes' sword?
You're expecting me to know?
So I Googled this after I read the comic. And I'm like, I have no idea what the Sword of Life is. Should I care about this? I have no idea. And when I Google it, what comes up is Snake Eyes.
Probably. Let me double check just in case. Good old source, Joepedia, folks. Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, Snake Eyes, Real American Hero, Destro, Real American Hero. It does not have anything specifically, but it all references Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but it does not have a specific article dedicated.
So do you know? I guess the answer there is no. You don't really know anything about the sword, right? Okay, because I'm wondering, like, why is this thing like the weapon that everyone cares about? Like, what is it about this thing?
I think it's because they Energon infused it, but that's just my assumption. And what happens when I assume things? I make an ass out of myself.
I mean, so he opens the box. The box contains the sword, and let's see here. Storm Shadow says, "Is the fabled sword of life, the power of it, and the feeling as if destined for my hand, destined to rule all." And then someone is, I don't know who this is talking because we don't have a reference for who it is. They swear, and they say, "I know I just helped him get the sword, but I can't help but feel an ocean of dread washing over me. Something about that guy picking up that sword feels like a game changer, and maybe not the one we're hoping for." So it's like, is this like Energon infused? Does it have special abilities or powers? I don't know, because I don't think about the sword. So
yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, as far as I know, based on what I know about G.I. Joe, which again is very little, I'm not aware of like Snake Eyes having any superpowers when it comes to his sword or anything. So,
but see, that's the thing. Like, maybe he used it in something else, because I'm looking at the preview for issue 5 where Storm Shadow is holding it and it's pink and it's Energon looking and whatever. It's the Sword of Life is a third. See, originally I thought they were going to try to pull a fast one on us and try to have it be one of his swords. It's not. He has his 2 swords sheathed at his sides.
Right.
So this Sword of Life is a whole new weapon thing that either of them could probably wield, most likely.
And in the preview, which I'm looking at now, it is 100% glowing there, glowing pink. Whereas at the end of Destro here, while we can see it, right, the last 2 panels there are pink. It's kind of hard to ascertain or discern that the sword itself is the one that's kind of generating that light, just simply because of the colors they use to color that page. But here in the preview, it clearly shows that the sword itself is glowing. So I don't know. I guess we got to wait to find out and or wait for G.I. Joe. But so overall, I think this is great. I think this sets up a really nice, I'm hoping, finale here for this particular miniseries. And really, I'm ready just to get on with G.I. Joe. I want to see kind of where that goes, and how similar the characters are from these miniseries that we've been reading. in the main comic line. So
yeah, I mean, Joshua Williamson is an excellent writer. I mean, the Duke series is what the Duke series is, but again, I think a 5-issue miniseries, it's a time crunch. You can only tell the story that you can tell within those 5 issues, and you may have to abandon certain story elements or certain whatever. You may have to. Some writers may feel the crunch of time or of whatever, even though it comes out over 5 months. That's still usually because of advances and how comics work and whatever else. You're like, these were all written months and months and months ago, and they're just coming out now. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to the G.I. Joe ongoing. I'm looking forward to the end of Scarlett. See how awesome it will be. I'm praying that Destro comes out with something good.
Yeah, that last page to conclude the series.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't want to put too much of a hard nail on the coffin there.
Well, on that note, do you want to talk about issue 5 previews?
Sure. Issue 5 previews. This is coming to us from Majorspoilers.com. Skybound Entertainment released an early look at Destro number 5 by Dan Waters and Andre Bresson. Destro, Cobra Commander, the Crimson Twins, the most dangerous powers in the Energon universe, are at war, but only one can win. The road to G.I. Joe number 1 ends here. And the 3-page preview here is the twins with Cobra, one of the twins, both of them actually, talking to Cobra Commander and all of that. And yeah, I love the covers, though, that's one of the good things I'll say about Destro. That series has good comic covers. Scarlett, number 5, sent a major spoiler sneak peek at Scarlett number 5, final issue in the miniseries by Kelly Thompson and Marco Ferrari. Everything that Scarlett, Storm Shadow, and Jinx have been planning comes to a head, and the future of the Energon universe will change forever. The road to G.I. Joe number 1 in stores November 13th, 2024 ends here. And again, we have basically where this issue for Scarlett, issue number 4, I'm assuming that's going to be the first page, butted up against the last page of this issue where we have Storm Shadow with the Energon infused sort of life. We have this cool kind of spider-webbed looking thing in the middle of the second page of the preview where they've cut through the wall, or they've done something where it shows him and it shows Scarlett, so I like that. And then we have a second mysterious helicopter that is not the same mysterious helicopter with the Cobra logo on the first time around, so I would have to really super zoom into that, but I think that's more Joe's showing up. I think that's finally Scarlett's
I'm zooming in on that right now. So I don't know. Whoever is in there has a mask on, it appears. They have a helmet, they have a mask on, and they're holding a rocket launcher.
Oh, damn it. They have a helmet and they have a mask. Well, that could be Cobra Commander.
Yeah, so it looks like they are attacking them because this page reads, Storm Shadow, we should leave before Cobra shows up. And then light comes in, right? So Scarlett's trying to cover her eyes. And it says, oh my God. And then they say, take cover.
Oh, it is. Okay. But how are they doing that? I don't understand. I'm just going to wait till next month and be surprised. Figure out how Cobra Commander is going to be at 2 places at once other than straddling a state line. Because that's the only way you can be at 2 places at once if you're on a state line between Indiana and Kentucky or Michigan and Indiana or wherever. As long as you're standing on the state line, you can be in 2 places.
Well, we don't have long to wait. This comes out October 9th. And then the G.I. Joe number 1 comes out November 13th. Which, by the way, that entire time period where it was like, oh man, right, this is me talking. I really wish we could just get the main G.I. Joe series. Like that entire time flew by. Mm-hmm. Right, because we're almost to October now as of recording this, and it's only just over a month and a half away. So
so Scarlett number 5 releases October 9th as of this recording, because you never know, it could change. Amazon could do something stupid.
Yeah,
but I'm blaming Amazon. I'm not blaming Skybound. I'm not blaming Image, because like you've said in the past episodes, it showed up everywhere else. So Scarlett number 5 is supposed to be out October 9th. Destro number 5 is supposed to be out October 16th.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Well, I'm looking forward to the conclusion to both of them, actually. Now that I know that Cobra Commander is showing up in Destro, that should at least make it interesting. So, and then we'll have to see, we'll have to confirm whether or not he's actually showing up in Scarlett. So,
yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. It's gonna frustrate me now, folks. It's gonna send me into a lot of brain turmoil and stuff until I actually have an answer.
All right. Well, on that note, anything else to wrap this up? Plugs. Yeah, what do you got for plugs?
Plugs. GeekCastRadio.com. What do we have going on over at GeekCastRadio.com? We just released our episode discussing the Beast Wars, Transformers music, and more. So the Beast era music, because the Beast Wars soundtrack finally came out. So we discussed the Beast Wars and Beast Machine soundtracks that Hasbro released. I have been trying to catch up as best I can with co-publishing the another comic review episodes inside the pull bag. Right now we are up to Void Rivals number 10 over there, so if you haven't heard it here, folks, you can go over there and listen to it there. Studio 2009, we just did the Mandalorian Season 2. Coming up, we've got the Deadpool 1 and 2 double feature, and then after that is the 10th anniversary of Need for Speed. We also talk about the overall 30th anniversary of the racing video game franchise. So that's what's going on.
Sweet. From my plugs, you can find us at anothercomicreview.com. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/matrix_prime. I'm not going to pimp Blue Sky this week, but I will say, if you've not seen it yet, go see Transformers 1. I think it is a fantastic movie. And apparently no one's going to see it because it came in second this past weekend. So behind a movie that's been out for 3 weeks.
Hey,
all right. Anything else?
I think we've run our course.
That'll do it. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check us out in the next episode. This is Jesse signing off. Transformy sound inserted here.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Pull Bag. Check us out next time when we'll be doing more syndicated episodes here at the end of 2024. Make your great escape into comics, and we will catch you next time.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pull Bag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.